There we go. And today I'm excited about today just because, boy, I can't get enough of this process called mind training. And really, it's about getting the basics down. Without the basics, you've got nothing. And one of the things, one of the big pitfalls in this mind training process, well, there are a couple of them. Nothing is happening to us. Everything is happening for us. Okay. So really, our only purpose here in this life, in this dream, is to continue to correct my projections. So the first real big issue to get past is to see when I'm projecting. And this is big. This is very big. And well, there was someone here last week, and I don't think she'd mind because she's a very willing person, but she had a complaint, but it was really a subtle complaint, didn't cause her problems. She didn't see it as a projection, but all complaints are projections, every single one of them. So if you wake up in the morning and you go, I'm tired, that's a projection. Or you wake up and I'm in pain, or it's too cold outside, or it's too hot outside. Those are complaints. And that's what this mind training is geared to correct. And sometimes if you can just see the small ones and you get good at this process, then as the larger ones come, they're much simpler to really deal with. I'm not saying your ego isn't going to put up a fight, because that's not been my experience. My ego has fought me big time a lot. And I just know my ego is my thinking. And my thinking wants me to suffer as much as possible. And Jesus wrote this whole text called A Course in Miracles for us to really get clear on how to change our minds so that we don't continue to suffer. And it's an amazing process. I just get so excited about it. I wake up in the morning. Well, my morning prayer is bring it on, Calico, bring it on. Bring on whatever needs to surface, whatever little shadows are there for me to see, bring them on. I am committed to getting rid of shadows wherever they lurk. And they do lurk. And ego has subtle and tricky ways of coming in. And this friend of ours had the complaint. I said, well, maybe you can do the mind training on your fear. She was going into a surgery and she was saying, no, I'm not fearful of surgery. I'm upset because I can't come into this Zoom meeting today. And I said, well, that's it then. That's the complaint. Deal with that complaint, because you're living life like you're going to miss something. There's nothing to miss. There is nothing to miss. I mean, this is where Jesus says this a lot. You can't screw this up. Now, this was a tough one for me to get in the beginning, because I was so used to screwing so much up that's how I held the mind training, that I'm going to screw it up. You can't. You're perfect. And here's an part of this process that's so fabulous is shadows are good things. They're good things because they give us an opportunity to work. the mind training. You know, if we think we want to just be holy and spiritual, this isn't the Zoom for you, because that's going to get you very much in a bind, because we came into this world to see everything differently. And unfortunately, we were born into this world. They slapped you on the butt, and I think we're all women here, and they said, it's a girl. And you were set up from the beginning. You were set up from the beginning, because then we were trained into how to be a girl. And we suffered greatly as a result in many ways. So this is the unwind of, from the moment you were born and identified as something, we're undoing all of that. So the subtleties are really what you want to look for. And if, you know, just hold the shadows as a good thing, because that's where we get our work done. And we're only here to do the work. That's our only purpose here. There's no other reason for any of us to be here. It's the work. It's to root out those shadows that keep us from seeing ourselves as the light that we are. Perfect, whole, and complete. Each one of us in these little Zoom boxes, you're perfect, whole, and complete. The only thing that keeps you from seeing that are the shadows that we believe. So we want to remove these one at a time, and get them all gone so that we can be in the bliss of who we are, because we are, in truth, pure bliss. Holy Spirit knows this. God knows this. You know, how many times in the Course in Miracles does it say, you're a loving thought in the mind of God? No kidding. Well, it doesn't say no kidding, but we do not see ourselves that way. I certainly didn't. Oh my God. And the more mind training I do, more things started to surface. And that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. And it's not to push that stuff away. It's to welcome it. It's like, oh, good. Let me deal with this shadow so that I don't have to see it anymore. And that's how you know the mind training is working. When you really stand on some complaint that you have, whatever it is, doesn't matter. And all our complaints are going to be different. But the process to heal that and see it differently is exactly the same. And we're going to talk about, I have a 3-step process to mind clearing that will not fail. It won't fail. The only thing that fails is the setup of us trying to push it away. Oh, I don't want to deal with that. Oh, I don't like them, so I won't associate them. These are just some of my favorite ones. I won't associate with them anymore. That'll resolve it. Or lovers. Oh God, I'm glad I'm done with that. Guess what? They'll be back. Different bodies, different faces, but they will be back. Because again, we're here to do this work. And this is the good news. Good news. I mean, this is Jesus teaching us how to think like Jesus. Now, that should feel pretty good. It does to me. Now, I'm not there yet, but I'm guaranteed that that's what will happen if I stay true to the purpose of why I'm here, to clear my mind and see everything differently. Everything. Weather, housing, how much money I have in the bank, what my body looks like, the status of my health, All those are complaints. Food, that's a big one. People have a lot of complaints about food. Oh, I don't do this, but I do this. It's like, do the mind training on all of it. Absolutely all of it. It won't go wrong. Okay? So I just wanted to set up. So nothing is happening to us. Everything is happening for us. Now, my 3-step process to mind clearing. Number 1, and this can be the most tricky, state the complaints. State the complaint. It's either a grievance or an error you usually see in someone else, but you can see it in yourself. Pain. These are complaints. So you state the complaint. Holy Spirit, I'm really tired. And I know that's not the truth of me, so it has to be a shadow. So let's deal with the shadow. I'm tired. That's not true. But I feel like it's true. And believe me, when you're mind training, these things feel real. Believe me, when I was diagnosed with cancer, I felt it. And they said it's moving into your lungs. I felt it. I was on oxygen 24/7. I felt it. And I used only the mind training as the correction. And I was able to get off oxygen 24/7. I was able to start moving around. I mean, I would not say that I'm healed with cancer. I'm still mind training. And some of my greatest opportunities for training the mind are my body symptoms. I love body symptoms because it's an immediate red flag. Ooh, time to go into prayer. And it's not always the body that's the problem. Yeah, Troy's not here today, but on Monday, or Tuesday, or whenever it was, he was talking about he still has body symptoms. And one of his complaints he didn't see as a complaint, but he's competitive with other people. And he doesn't see himself as the winner. He sees himself as, I need to be better at this. I need to do this better. I need to do that better. That's a complaint. So you may have, I don't know, swollen feet that you want to deal with, but you want to look at, keep going. This is a contemplation. The step of stating the complaint is so contemplative. It's like, stay with it and just continue to ask Holy Spirit for more clarity, more clarity, more clarity. You will get it. I guarantee it. Holy Spirit answers all prayers for assistance. And I go to Holy Spirit all the time, for everything. Someone once asked me in a Zoom room, well, you don't ask Holy Spirit when to go to the bathroom. I have. And I'm not embarrassed about it. It's like, Holy Spirit, would it be a good idea for me to go to the bathroom right now? Yes or no? It comes right through. So I am not shy about asking for help. And the one I ask for help from is always Holy Spirit. And I mentioned this again on Tuesday, but it bears mentioning again. If your complaint is a person and you go through this process, do not go through this process with them. This is your clearing. And one of the things I've noticed going through this enough, once I get clear with my end of the thinking, and there is only one end, it's mine, the other person magically shifts. I haven't done anything, they haven't done anything, but I'm thinking about them differently. And now all of a sudden, they're not an asshole. They're not doing anything wrong. And the only one that's corrected the process is moi, because there is no one else out there. This is the the big girls, since I only see women right here, this is the big girls club to thinking differently. And there is no one else out here but our thinking. And the only thing that needs to be corrected ever is our thinking. And this won't look as true. Believe me, when I was, and I can still hear the doctor going, you have stage 4 terminal cancer that has metastasized and there's nothing we can do for you. That felt very true. It felt so true. Well, that's what the dream is going to throw at you. When it throws you a problem, a complaint to deal with, it's going to look insurmountable. And I say, it's not. There's nothing that is insurmountable. There's just the willingness to take it into contemplation and prayer with Holy Spirit or Jesus or the one loving mind, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. Just call on that ultimate wisdom that really we are. But we came into a world of many beliefs that we believed. It's a girl. Oh, okay. What does that mean? Well, I had a lot of people tell me what it meant, and I didn't like any of them. And so I just went on to develop more and more beliefs that controlled me more and more. So state the complaint, grievance, error, pain, whatever, fully, and then stay in prayer with this. Stay in prayer with this. And you're going to ask yourself, instead of what is occurring or what occurred, what would I have wanted to have happen? Okay. What did I want to have happen instead of this? So in the case of me seeing cancer, it was, what did I want to have happen instead of being told I had cancer? To not have cancer. It's usually just the opposite. It's a pretty simple question, but it can be very tricky, particularly when you get this process, because we don't want to let go of our complaints. They serve us. In some way, they serve us. And that'll be discovered as you go through this process of prayer and contemplation. So the first one is state the complaint. Second one, instead of whatever happened or whoever you see as being a problem or a body part or body image or whatever, instead of, okay, I'll do one of mine too. Instead of not being able to eat wheat, what would I rather have happened? That I can eat wheat. Okay, very simple. Just be honest. And this can be tricky too, because we've told ourselves so many lies over the years. It sounds insane, but it sometimes is very difficult to get honest about it. And I need to say, with body stuff, there's going to be a lot of shame in even saying I have cancer, and what I'd rather have had happen is no cancer. Why would I have created cancer? Well, I didn't. I gave myself an opportunity to look at cancer as a shadow. It's just a shadow. But you see, in the belief in the mind, it goes, wow, that's a big issue. There are no big issues. They're just issues that I need to be willing to go into prayer and contemplation about. And this is not, this is not a passive process. This is a very active process. My whole life is committed to mind training. I can do many things. Oh, I can be walking around. I can even be talking to someone, but I'm watching my thoughts all the time. And when I come up, well, this is a long time ago, but I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm beyond help. I was talking to someone and they had a green sweater on. And I caught my thought. My thought went, ooh, that's a horrible color green. She shouldn't wear that color green. That was my thought. And I caught it. And I thought, Calico, who the hell cares what you think about her green sweater? But it comes up in all different ways. And it's just to pluck one at a time to see differently. And once it's gone, I didn't care what color sweater. I didn't care if she wore a sweater. I didn't mind color. It was like the wheat. It's like I started eating wheat. Didn't have any reaction to it. Wow, how did that happen? I changed my mind. I got off the oxygen. Why? Because I changed my mind. I stated the complaint. Instead of this, I didn't want to have cancer. And then the third and most important step. Okay, so the second step is your desired outcome, what you wanted to have happen. So the third step, are you willing to give up what you wanted to happen for the peace of God? And this can be very confronting. And I really want you to really get honest with it. Because, okay, so with the cancer, and then, God, it was confronting. It's all get out. It's like, what do you mean I have to give up wanting to be healed from cancer for the peace of God? Now, again, nothing's happening and I'm not doing anything. I'm just questioning my mind. But I didn't want to let go. No. I mean, I had a lot of no's before I had a yes. I would be willing to give up being healed from cancer for the peace of God. That didn't come without a lot of struggle, apparent struggle that I saw. But I stayed with it. And, I used to ride green horses. And, there's a point when you put your butt down in the saddle, you hang on. You just hang on. And that's what this mind training is like. Just hang on. Don't let go. The miracle is right around the corner. It's just you have to be willing to answer these questions with as much honesty as possible. And so you have to say, okay, what I wanted to have happen was I wanted not to have cancer. Are you willing to give up your desired outcome of not having cancer for the peace of God? And I was eventually be able to and I went through much in my mind. This was not a simple process. I guarantee it was not a simple process. But at some point I was going, oh, I beat myself down. It's like, okay. I'm willing to give up having cancer to have the peace of God. And then miracles started happening. But it was only until I was completely honest and willing to go through this process. Three simple steps. Now, it doesn't happen. You can't zip through this like a Holy Mary, okay, or Hail Mary or an Our Father. This is like this. I like to say I'm still dealing with the issue around cancer, but my resistance is really low now. So if I have a little symptom that comes up, oh, I don't even hesitate. Of course, I want the peace of God. I don't have to even give it a second thought. And then miracles start happening. But initially answering these honestly, because if it is a no, if you're like, no, I don't want to give up them looking like an asshole for my life to work. Really sit with the willingness to be honest. And if it's a no, I really want them to occur differently because they're making my life miserable. Great. Let it be a no. And then pray to Holy Spirit for willingness for this process to go be complete. Because it's only our willingness that keeps our minds stuck and in suffering. And believe me, I'm not going to say this is easy. I would never say this is easy. I mean, pretty much at every step when something comes up that annoys me, or I find, I still have a corrective mind. I mean, I still see things, wow, it'd be so much easier if they do it this way, which is my way. No, it's the way it is, Calico. Doesn't need to be your way. You don't know anything. But you see, I still have an I know mind that thinks I do. And so it still comes up. It's like, oh my God, if they would just learn to do this differently, it'd be so much easier. I don't have children, but I hear this a lot from parents. Parents wanting to change their children to do it differently. This will never work. Kids are there as your opportunity to see your projections. So it really is to just stay in the saddle, hang on with your whole heart, and go through the process. And this, again, not passive. You may, at this point, I have complaints. I have different things come up. I still work with mind training, but for the most part, it happens very quickly. And I'm able to get through it very quickly. Initially, it wasn't, because it all felt real. The dream felt real. People in the dream felt real. My body felt real. But you see, they're all my projections. And now I am less resistant to the process, because I get, no, I'm not a body. I'm not a body. How many times does A Course in Miracles tell us you are not a body? Do we believe it? Absolutely not. Body is real, it's suffering, and I need to find something that's going to fix it. I mean, that was my experience. It may not be yours, and I hope it isn't, but it was mine. And so I was a doctor. Oh God, God bless me. Oh, I had to put my doctor mind in a coffin, nail it fucking tight, and bury it about 10 feet under with rocks on top. Because every time I come out, oh, I know what's going on. I know, oh, your kidneys are weak. Oh, your adrenals need to, oh. No, it's not about fixing it. It's just about observing it and then praying to see it differently. And it is like riding the craziest horse on the planet. And I guarantee it's worth the effort. The only thing that's ever been worth it has been the mind training. So with that, I've got a half hour, and I really want to hear how everyone else's mind training is going. So I'm going to turn off, and I love you all, and I just thank you all for being here. Goodbye, all you YouTubers. You're missing out on the best part. Hang on, let me turn this off.